When you think of terrorism, you think of Islamic terrorism. Let's be honest with each other. And it's odd because there are a lot of Christian terrorist organizations of all sorts of religions, but Christianity, world's biggest religion, has its terrorists. They don't get so much PR though. And we want to correct that. So we're going to be doing a brief overview of just some of the Christian terrorist organizations that are either still operating or have operated over the past few years and have accrued quite a body count of their own. We're going to talk about three. The first is the Army of God, a network of violent Christians that has been active since the early 1980s. The Army of God openly promotes killing abortion providers, has included multiple convicted terrorists and murders amongst its ranks. Okay, the second is the Eastern Lightning, which, by the way, that's a pretty badass name. Also known as the Church of the Almighty God or the Church of the Gospel's Kingdom. It is a Christianist cult with an end-time apocalyptic focus. This is off in China, by the way. Eastern Lightning believes that the world is coming to an end, and in the meantime, its duty is to slay as many demons as possible. That is not metaphorical. They identify people that they see as being demons and beat or even kill them. And historically, they have killed a number of different people in that context, also Christians. The second one is the Lord's Resistance Army. You might have actually heard of this one thanks to the Kony campaign. Founded by Joseph Kony in Uganda in 1987, it's called for the establishment of a Christian fundamentalist government in Uganda. The LRA, according to Human Rights Watch, has committed thousands of killings and kidnappings. Now,
thousands?
Yes.
Thousands?
Thousands.
Thousands?
That's a lot.
How many people died in 9/11?
Thousands.
Thousands. Oh, okay.
Thousands.
So that was a Muslim fundamentalist
Yes.
terrorism, and this is Christian fundamental terrorism. And how many did they kill?
Thousands.
Also killed thousands.
Yes.
Still, Muslims are
Not
worse.
the same.
I still think the Muslims are worse. You know why?
Why is that?
Because I don't know any.
Exactly. And the scary thing is that we have this thing in this country where it doesn't matter if you're from Africa or if your ancestry's from Africa and you say that you're a Christian, nope, I get to declare that you're a Muslim. For some reason.
Yes.
You can't be a Christian and come from Africa specifically. I'm referring to both Kony and Obama in the same sentence, which is probably going to put me in some trouble. So look, this is just three. There are many. Obviously, some much larger than others, some that have committed more acts of terror and murder than others, obviously. And yet, you don't hear about these. And even when an individual who might associate with one of these groups, like with Army of God, we've had numerous instances of domestic terrorists coming from that organization in America over the past 2 decades, you don't hear about their affiliation with these groups. And if somebody talks about it in the news, then it's being anti-conservative, it's being biased against conservatives or against Christianity.
I mean,
that's interesting.
Didn't you do a story, didn't TYT do a story recently that some of the people we've trained to fight ISIS in Iraq are doing exactly the same kind of, they're cutting people's heads off and putting them on their tanks and stuff like that? Right?
They're on our side.
They're on our side.
Yes.
Doing the same thing. Didn't get as much press in America.
No.
You know
Okay.
why? I don't know any Muslims.
Don't know them.
That's
don't trust them.
I don't know how I go like them. I don't
Yeah.
trust them about that. It's the whoever the military-industrial complex needs to have as a boogeyman.
Yeah.
So we spend way more money fighting something that doesn't have any fun. These guys don't even have a plane. And we're sending soldiers and billions of dollars to fight them in the Middle East. What we're doing here is showing there's a lot of Christian fundamentalist maniac terrorists, right? Killing thousands of people, but we don't get the press here because, I don't know, maybe, I'm going to just put a guess that maybe the press here is white and Christian. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, and look, many people are going to say, well, look, most of the press, probably atheists. That's true, but they still were mostly, I would assume, brought up in Christian households, and you retain some of those biases even if you no longer personally associate with the religion or see yourself as being a member.